Hello, yeah. What's up, Jolah? I think we've
I'm doing
talked
all right.
before.
Did we talk before?
Yeah, yeah. I think we've talked before. Well, I don't even think I know we have talked before. So what's on the agenda today? I haven't been watching the stream recently. What's on the agenda? What is the main talking point today?
On my brain, Donald Trump is a communist. And it's kind of crazy. He's like a communist and a Marxist. It's really weird.
What?
Yeah, he's been a communist
How
recently.
how could wait? Whoa! That's the complete opposite that I thought this was going to go. Yeah. Why would you say he's a communist and a Marxist?
So Trump is making Marxist arguments or communist arguments about materials. So he's saying like Americans don't need multiple brands at the grocery store. We just need one or two. We don't need material. What is money? Money doesn't really matter. That's a big statement from Marxist or Marxist Leninist or talking Soviet Union. He made some Mao arguments. Mao had this big thing where all the intellectuals, all the researchers had to go work in the mines and work in the factories to be closer to the national interest and the national spirit of the working class. Because those communists are so pro working class, they want everyone to be working class, poor working class forever, with no chance of ever leaving. So Trump has said that as well. He spoke at University of Alabama. He said, "Hey guys, I want all you to use your degrees to go work in the mines and work in the factories and work in the steel plants," which obviously I really appreciate workers that do that. But just the idea that those jobs have no value, we need everyone to be, throwing away education, going in the mines. Everyone should be. We should not be focusing on AI or robotics. We got to focus on just going back in the mines. Also today, Trump put a 100% tariff on any movies coming into America produced in foreign lands. He says, which is a policy ripped straight from North Korea. North Korea has an embargo on every single form of outside media. And yeah, it makes no sense to tariff movies that were shot in other countries, including movies that are shot in America and other countries. So all of these policies are very consistent with like North Korea, communist Russia, and also like the former communist China with Mao. So it's been wild. Trump is a commie
Sure.
now, dude.
I don't know if I agree with that. I would say it's more going down a more dictatorship type path because yeah, I'm actually surprised hearing you say that because I'm very confused. I wouldn't say it's a commie path. It's more of a dictatorship because I would even say modern age China. Yes, they're called the Chinese Communist Party, but I would say modern day China is not even communist. North Korea is probably your best example there in that argument. But I guess you are right that if you want to talk about like Maoist China and stuff, sure. But I think that's just more consistent with dictatorships
Well,
than
yeah, it's all the overbearing nationalism. Nationalism almost always leads to an authoritarian government because they say sacrifice yourself, sacrifice your ambition, sacrifice your wealth, sacrifice your material for the glory of the nation, for Mother Russia, for what did they call Germany? What did Hitler call Germany? I forget.
the Reich,
Yeah, well, yeah, I forget
the
what Hitler
Third
referred
Reich.
to it as. Yeah, I know that's. I forget if did he have like a Mother Russia? Um,
Well,
I
Deutsch.
forget.
Well, he would just say
Deutschland,
Deutschland. A lot. Well, and
like
that
the
just means
AFD.
Germany. I know that. Like, I don't know, but yeah, I'm actually surprised to hear you say that because I don't. Wow, that's the complete opposite of where I thought this conversation was going to go.
Well,
Because I don't
communism.
think I.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that in general because I don't think if you're going to compare it to communism and stuff, if you want to get into like base communism, they're not really at least what Lenin and Marx wrote. I don't think Trump is really following that because it would have to have a lot more to do with like
Yeah.
the workers should be in power and all this stuff.
Well, no, they never
So
do that though, right? I'm saying this
yeah,
is what
I
communism
agree.
and
I agree.
fascism always turn into.
In practice, I agree. In practice, that never happens. I agree with
Yeah,
that
no.
100%.
But
But
communism and fascism, it's a difference in flavor. It's the same tactics, same repression,
it's
different
horseshoe
enemies.
politics. It's
Yeah, yeah, for
horseshoe
sure.
politics,
Yeah, yeah.
literally.
Dictators are gonna
Uh,
dictate. Yeah.
dude, I actually think we agree. Yeah, fucking shit. But no, yeah, I'm just surprised to hear you say it because I actually think we're getting more right wing. Well, when communism and fascism, I guess necessarily aren't even right or left wing, depending how you think about it. But I think we are leaning more towards a fascist or an authoritarian or technocracy more than communism in
Oh yeah,
America.
for
That
sure. I
was
mean, we're not gonna. Communism's not real. It's never gonna work. So like, communism, when I say it, is authoritarianism with the aspects of giving up materials. But I mean, it's a combination of Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin, Mao, Putin. Like all their rhetoric combined is what the current Trump cabinet uses. He's too stupid. I mean, he did have the Hitler books like the New World Order and Mein Kampf like next to his nightstand, which is a little bit weird. Some people might say it's a little
Wait,
bit
is
weird.
that actually true? There's a
Yeah,
picture of that.
he said he never read it. He said he never
Damn.
read it, but yeah, he said he never read
Yeah,
it.
right.
He did have it though. His father was a KKK member, his KKK, and then Elon Musk's grandfather was a neo-Nazi, known neo-Nazi, published books about the technocracy. So it's okay though. Who cares? I mean, nothing's real. They're joking. They are memeing. And Doge is doing a surveillance state. They want to do a Chinese-style surveillance state in America, and no one understands it. No one gets it. I don't think it'll work necessarily, but it's
I
scary
think we're
because
basically already there. I think we're basically already there. Sorry to cut you out. I think we're basically already at besides the cameras that have facial recognition on every corner, basically, we're basically already at a
well, we do have
Chinese.
that too.
Well, true, but not to the extent China has. Be honest about that. Like we don't have it to the extent China has.
From
That's on
where
every street corner.
America was freedom wise to where it is now is a bigger jump than what China ever was to where they are now. It's a much bigger jump. Our democracy has degraded at a level no one thought was possible. But when it comes to like Mao versus where the current regime is in China with Xi Jinping, like it's really we are falling from much greater heights, of course. So
I think that's kind of fair. Yeah, I think that's fair because yeah, we used to be a lot more free and stuff, and there's still free places in America, and I think a lot of that has to do with just land mass in general. It's harder to dictate what's going on when you have a bigger land mass. And China, of course, has a very big area of land. So, but
a lot of
they were
people
able to. What's up?
they got a lot of people, but I mean, when Trump is hating Europe, hating Canada, hating all these countries, we are sacrificing everything basically because we need those countries with us. Like they are extensions of America. That is true when people say that, but it's a good thing for us. It benefits us greatly to have extensions of America and free countries in different treaties and allies and trade deals. Like America dropping all these countries and even with immigration, America needs immigrants for both high level research and also low level manufacturing. Immigrants have always done the shitty jobs in America. It's not right, obviously, but we need people coming to America. We need immigrants. Immigrants power America. Without immigrants, America is nothing. Unironically, America is nothing without immigration. And objectively, and we're killing everything good about America. We're giving up all of our partnerships, and I guarantee you, there are stories about the Nazis being on drugs all the time. I guarantee you Trump's cabinet is high off their asses 24/7, gritting their teeth, ready for the next chance to lock up. And even the El Salvador prison. I know no one feels this right now, but the El Salvador prison situation is on the level of Auschwitz. It's on the level of these concentration camps. Not isolated. So when I say that, I mean like isolated for like historic purposes. Like it's not a full Holocaust, obviously, but the way we have turned illegal into a word that means essentially this person's an animal we can abuse and do whatever we want with, and the government can just say they're an illegal terrorist and do whatever they want as well. It's the same extrajudicial hearings, same concentration camps, same gulag, same forced labor. It's modern, of course. It doesn't feel that way, but we know for a fact that 50% or more of the people sent there were completely innocent and seeking legal asylum in America, and they escaped gangs in El Salvador and Venezuela. But Bukele works with the gangs in El Salvador. Wants his gang members back so they don't squeal or rat in the U.S. And then we have Venezuela nationals. You know, Venezuela was going to take people back through deportations, but they stopped because America was going to deem them a foreign enemy with the Alien Enemies Act. So we are the innocent people being sent to El Salvador with no hearing and the acceptance in the American public. There's not nearly enough of a rebuke to what's happening. But I guess we did have Guantanamo Bay and everything. So, but this is probably worse than that. Even they had lawyers. But I mean, the force. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, you hit me with like 4 topics.
Bloom
So
Films. Thank you so much for all the donations. I don't know what that all is. Jules, is that a lot of money? I don't know. That's a lot. Bloom Films. Bloom Films is going crazy. What is Bloom Films doing in there? Bloom Films is spamming. What is? I don't know what that means. Thank you. Thank you, Bloom Films.
hell
I
yeah,
think that's good.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Support the streams. Support the streams, man. Yeah, but because yeah, that you hit me with a lot of things, so I'm not going to be able to hit on
Oh
all of them.
no, that
Uh,
was from my YouTube clips. Don't worry.
that's no, it's all good. It's all. I mean, I support to an extent everybody. I think everybody in America should be able to have their own opinion, as long as it's not a destructive and very uh violent opinion. Because I think a lot of people have violent opinions and they're pushing violence on
Mm-hmm.
purpose.
Yeah.
But if when it comes to like the El Salvador thing, yeah, I don't agree with a lot of how that's been handled, but I agree with I don't agree with the number you said that 50% have been seen to be, oh, they're completely innocent. I know there have been innocent people sent to El Salvador though, but uh, what do you think about the gang members though? You're saying you think it's inhumane to send murderers and rapists to prisons like that. I don't think it's super inhumane. Gang members, murderers, and rape, some of the worst of humanity. Like,
Well, first off, we know for a fact at least 50 plus. All right, out of the few hundred, 50 plus is guaranteed. We know we're here legally following the asylum rules, going through legal entry, doing all their check-ins with DHS and ICE. So we know for a fact they were sent there by mistake. We know the number is 50 plus. More names are going to come out.
you
So
said
that
50% though. You said fifty
no,
percent
okay, I
though. To
said
be fair,
50%,
but
and when I say that, I base it off of we know that 50 of them have zero cause, okay, at all. We know that only 25% have actual evidence of crimes. We know 75% do not have any evidence. So when I say 50%, I am extrapolating from the 50 we do know, and also knowing that only 25% have provable crimes. And the government has had weeks and weeks and even months now to show proof of criminal, action among these people. And the most they can do is lie about a guy's tattoos on his hand, like Rodrigo Garcia's tattoos. They can lie about that. That's all they have.
what is the tattoo
Yeah.
you're talking about though,
The skull,
specifically?
the marijuana leaf, the smiley face, the cross in the skull that they said means MS-13, and Trump lied about.
Okay, well, yeah, because I mean, I don't know too much about that, but I'm like, gang tattoos are a real thing. I'm sure you're very well
Well,
aware
yeah,
of
but they
that.
don't get like
Yeah.
cute little finger pictures. Like Rodrigo Garcia's tattoos had a marijuana leaf for get high, or no, smoke weed, and then the smiley was for get high, and then the cross was for praise God, and then the skull was until I die. So it was smoke weed, get high, praise God until I die, and it's a pretty popular arrangement. But they said it was MS-13 because of M for marijuana, S for skull, or wait, no, M for marijuana, yeah, S for wait, no, it wasn't even S for skull. It was S for smile, S for smile, cross for one, and then skull means three. But if you look at the actual MS-13 tattoos and talk to experts, that's not the tattoos they use. And when ICE, another way to look at these cases as well, whenever ICE needs to go to an actual courtroom to prove someone is a part of a gang, they have zero evidence. Every case has fallen apart. They had this big press conference saying, we found a lead kingpin of the illegal gang invasion. And it turned out they had zero case on him. So they dropped every charge and they went through with normal deportation proceedings, which is extremely minor compared to extrajudicial, extermination campaigns to an El Salvador super prison. But you said something about like
Well,
being
no,
yeah.
that I feel like that's what. Sorry to cut you off. That's like a big extrajudicial extermination campaigns is a crazy way to
Do you realize,
paint
and
that.
if you're in the El Salvador prison, you are beaten and you work and you are starved until you die. You know that, right? They are slaves until they die.
Well, uh,
There's no chance to ever leave, right?
In American prisons, you're slaves for some shit too. Like that, I don't. You would have to explain to me the
Okay,
massive
so
difference.
in El Salvador, they're in a hot climate. Okay, a very hot climate. There are zero windows, zero air condition. They have steel pads like a warehouse. They have like 50 people for like 5 steel pads. They all sleep on top of each other. They are abused constantly. They have to work in like textile mills and other manufacturing plants. They are beaten. They are starved, and there's a routine amount of them just like dying randomly. Bukele works with the gangs in El Salvador to do his stuff, and that's why America is actually helping Bukele get back some of his kingpins, who he wants back, so they don't squeal and rat. Like I said before, like it's a very corrupt organization and very corrupt thing. But like in general, I do not want those camps available for any person. I do not want those available for any people after that. And this is myself and my own moral arguments. I do not want us to enact destruction upon other human bodies. The only goal of prisons, in my opinion, is taking away the threat of someone from harming anyone else. Okay, that's the only goal. That's why I'm for life in prison instead of death penalty. I do not want the government to have the ability to put someone in a death camp or to execute them with no chance to reverse it, with no chance for repairing the situation if they get something wrong. So that's my big argument for against it. And my other big question for people is like, why the hell? No one even asked this question because things got so freaking crazy, dude. Why do we have a prison in El Salvador that we're paying for sending people to? Why are we like? Why do we even have a prison in El Salvador?
Yeah,
like, what the hell's going on?
It's actually unconstitutional, at least in my opinion, based off my understanding of what.
Even if it wasn't, why though? Even if it was not constitutional or unconstitutional, why are we doing it? Like what? Like no one even thought about that. Like it seems like they want a loophole, right? An authoritarian. They want to justify using the Alien Enemies Act and expanding executive power. It seems, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think we can agree on that. Yeah. But I'm sure you're well aware a lot of prisons in America definitely exploit prison labor as well.
Yeah. Well, they get paid something and they can leave. If the government says they got it wrong, there's a process in America. They can leave. They have much better conditions in general, and they do get paid something. Even if I think like the firefighters in California are still bad, obviously. It's like comparing the working class people in America to Chinese slaves. It's not even somewhat similar.
That is kind of fair. Yeah, I know you're like put me down that pipeline of train of thought, but that is kind of fair. And yeah, because it's funny. I think last time we talked, we were talking about the firefighters in California, and I was talking about it's unfair how they had no the prisoner firefighters had no pathway to become real firefighters after they got out of jail. And I was talking about how I thought that was super like crazy and stupid because it's like, isn't jail supposed to be about reformation instead of just straight punishment? But of course, that's not how people see it. I don't give a fuck. Oh yeah, you robbed a fucking store. Oh yeah, you robbed the store. Okay.
Yeah, and there is a pathway for it, but of course, if they have a record and they come out, I don't know if their time in counts towards their training.
They actually don't. If you have a felony record, you cannot become a firefighter in California. If you have a felony record,
I'll have to research that a little bit.
Yeah, I could be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure if you have a felony record, you cannot become a firefighter. So that's why I said, like, if you robbed a store, and it's like, oh yeah, you would have to rob a store for like $1,000 or a couple $1,000. But it's like, I feel like that's way different.
Oh yeah, there's issues with background checks I'm seeing. So expungement process, it makes it easier. They passed the bill to make it easier to expunge the records, but it can still be a complex process, especially if you come out of prison with like nothing, nothing on your back, and you're trying to get, going through a training process and not having money can be a definite issue. And that's a tough one for sure. They have to. I want to do research on them sometime.
Yeah, they gotta fix that, bro. Because I'm telling you, like, those prisoners are doing some of the most hard labor when it comes to firefighting, and they understand it better than most people, and they're not getting the recognition that they deserve.
Yeah, and that could be a way to like, that could be a great way for opportunity. It could provide a high, even doing a crazy job like that. It does provide some type of high as well. It can give someone purpose, and yeah, that's definitely a really good pathway. I definitely think, before I go on to one more caller for tonight, I'm going to look up, I forgot what they get paid. What's the California? Let me see. I'm curious what they get paid. Ooh, yeah, that's crazy. $10 per day, brother. Oh my god.
Yep.
When deployed to active emergencies, they get an additional $1 per hour when they have active emergencies. I think they should get paid minimum wage. I think that should be a law nationally. If you are working, you should get paid minimum wage. Or like, yeah, I'll just go with that. If you can't pay minimum wage, you should not be using their labor, honestly.
I think it should be about minimum wage, and especially too, you got to think when you're in prison like that, commissary is more expensive. We could buy it, well, and they can't buy jars, of course. They're buying bags, but like say like a jar of pickles or something. They're buying bags of pickles. They're buying a bag of pickles for fucking $6. We buy a jar of pickles for $2. You get what I'm saying? Like everything is
it'll be more expensive, yeah.
Yeah, everything is upcharged, so they're paying them less and expecting them to pay more for basic goods. So
Trump says a
it doesn't seem to.
monopoly. Yeah, the prices are crazy. But also like, and I got a couple of people calling. I'll just say this before I move on. I appreciate the call as well, but um, yeah, people say California is like this liberal safe haven, but it's really not that far. I mean, as far as progressivism goes, it's far left socially, definitely, but economically, it's not very left. So like they'll exploit people. There's not. I mean, there's better labor protections than red states, but it's still not amazing. So like the idea of California is this progressive haven is just it's never been true, and it's still obviously one of the most powerful. If it was a country, it would be like a top 10 country in the world because it's so big and has so much power, GDP. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of issues
Yep.
there that are not really progressive. It's more of like a liberal conservative, like conservative economically than liberal, very liberal socially for sure. But
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's probably like a moderate, more moderate liberal how they deal with the economics. But that would just be my
well, they
opinion.
say the
There
gays
are a
can be
little.
free, but don't take my money. That's what they say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, take more calls, man. Fucking good talking to you. Fucking uh, I don't know what to say. Yeah, yeah, dude. I'll just say it, and you can be like, yo, fuck you after. But I make music and everything, and fucking if one day you want to check out fucking my music and shit, that would be sick, Jola. I've been in your chat for a bit, so.
Oh, what's your music? Tell me.
Oh, 77 BB on SoundCloud. 77
Is it on
BB.
YouTube at all?
Well, yeah. My YouTube is Tacos Legit. I have one song on YouTube. I'm making music videos with this dude in fucking England right now. We're trying to get it like popping, right?
England. All right. Well, um, yeah, maybe I'll look at it sometime. But
Yeah. I
you
know
can
you
shout. People can
probably
shout stuff
won't, but
out.
I'm like, dude, I didn't do this for like promotion. I know you probably won't. I didn't do this
Oh,
for
I'm not big enough to
promotion.
promote
But,
anybody. I cannot promote anybody. I'm not nearly big enough for that. But yeah, I appreciate the call, man.
oh yeah, man. Have a nice night, man.
All right, thank you too. I'm going. LOL.